Sales are up for the second month in a row. And here in Mission, buyers are starting to step back in. And that's a shift that's taking a hold across the entire Fraser Valley as well. Now, benchmark prices did ease again in October, and inventory is still running high. More and more sellers are adjusting their price in order to stay competitive. And it's that combination which is giving buyers more room to act, even though affordability is still tight, and we are definitely in a buyer's market. We're seeing more homes sell with a pace that's clearly improving. Hi, I'm Irene, your local realtor here in my community of Mission, BC, where I've been helping people just like you buy and sell for the last 20 years. And if you're thinking about buying or selling, my contact information is below. We can talk about your next move. In this update, we're going to take a quick look at what's happening across the Fraser Valley and then dive into what's actually going on here in Mission. What's selling, what isn't, and what's really driving the market right now. Stick around to the end and I'll explain what this market's really telling us as we move closer to 2026. Let's get started. Sales across the Fraser Valley climbed again in October, up almost 17% from September, marking the second straight month of stronger activity. There were just over 10,100 active listings. That's up 15% year over year, but down slightly from September. And that's a typical seasonal shift as we head towards winter. New listings dropped 7% month over month, showing fewer sellers coming to the market right now. The benchmark price across all property types is down this month, and it's still sitting below last year's levels. Average selling time rose to 42 days for a detached home and 37 days for condos and townhomes. Now, here's where October really comes into focus, with every Fraser Valley community showing a month of rising sales, or the second month of rising sales. White Rock at 28%, Langley rose 18%, Surrey was up 14%, Abbotsford gained just over 10%, and Mission saw 7%. Now let's zoom in on Mission and look at how our numbers stacked up. In October, Mission recorded 62 sales across all property types. That's 7% up from September and up 19.2% year over year. Active listings were at 367. That's 3% lower month over month, but 12% higher than a year ago, leaving the sales to active ratio at 11.7%, keeping Mission in a buyer's market. Let's take a look at how the prices break down. These are all the property types combined. So under 500,000, we had 8 sales. Between 500 and 900,000, we had 26 sales. Between 900 and 1.25 million, we had 18 sales. Between 1.25 and 1.75 million, we had 8. And over 1,750,000, we had 2. Taking a look at the details for detached homes, benchmark price came in at $1,015,400. That's unchanged from last month and almost identical to October 2024. 49 sales in October, up 48.5% month over month and up by 8.9% year over year. Active listings were at 286. That's 3% lower month over month, 12% higher year over year, leaving 9.9 months of inventory and keeping detached homes firmly in buyer's market. And here's what actually sold. Detached homes under 500,000, we had 3 sales, and these were all nice mobile homes. Between 500,000 and 900,000, we had 18, and these were mainly older homes above the 20-year mark. Good family neighborhoods, mostly 2,000 square feet and over. And what I want you to notice here are the final accepted prices, some pretty significant adjustments, as much as 380,000. The others are coming down about 30 to 35,000 from list price. But an honorable mention to 2 of the properties came in with final offers that were over their list price. Between 900,000 and 1,250,000, we had 16 sales. Now we're getting into larger homes, many of them again over the 20-year mark, larger square footage on the home, larger lots, maybe newer. And again, we're seeing a lot of sellers here willing to negotiate on price. Now between 1.25 million and 1.75 million, we show 8 sales. And these are properties that are significantly larger. So we're talking about small acreages. They tend to be further away from the city center. Some pretty nice properties at this price range. And over 1.75 million. We had 2 sales, and these were definitely executive style homes, with the highest property coming in at a sold price of $2,860,000. Townhomes. Benchmark price came in at $646,000. That's down 1% month over month and 4% year over year. There were 10 sales. That's up 11% from last month, and a strong 150% increase from last year. Active listings came in at 43. That's down 6.5% and the same year over year, giving us 4.3 months of inventory. And now looking what actually sold. 2-bedroom townhomes starting here at $415,000, and once we move up to 3-bedroom townhomes, the highest one came in at $790,000. Now that's for a newer one, and it's a corner unit. It's a bit of a mixed bag here. Some older ones with higher square footage, some of the newer ones, of course, lower square footage. But all in all, a very good month for townhomes. They are showing that sellers are being more realistic on their pricing. Apartments. Benchmark price came in at $437,300. That's no change month over month, but down 5% year over year. Only 4 sales in October and no difference from September, and 50% lower than last year. Active listings came in at 38. That's down 3% month over month and down 5% year over year, leaving us with 9.5 months of inventory. And here's what actually sold. Looking at the 3 sales, apartments have the toughest conditions, not just here in Mission, but straight across Fraser Valley and the Lower Mainland. It's a challenging market, and not for the usual reasons. Rates have come down, but they haven't been enough to push prices higher. Affordability, that's still a major issue. And here in Mission, the prices have almost doubled since the beginning of the pandemic. And even after the last 2 years of corrections, they're still more than 50% higher than they were in 2020. At the same time, inventory is now at the highest levels we've seen in 10 years. And don't let me forget about the cost of living. It's still putting pressure on every aspect of our lives. Stack on a stress test on top of it, and you're going to end up with a buyer who simply can't stretch any further, which is bringing us to the big question of what's 2026 going to look like? Well, economists are calling for a modest recovery next year, more sales, but prices that are holding steady. Maybe a small uptick as lower rates work their way through, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything dramatic and nothing fast, just a slow adjustment back to a more balanced market. At least we hope. Now, if rates drop again, it's going to be because the economy is slowing down again. And that kind of environment tends to keep the prices stable, even if the activity improves. So where does that leave Mission? Well, Mission is moving into a straight price-sensitive market. Buyers are cautious and budget-driven. Homes that reflect today's reality are going to get the interest. Homes that don't, they're going to sit. We're already seeing plenty of that. And that's where we are right now as we head into early 2026. Now, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. It'll help more people in Mission stay informed. Thanks for watching.